Support for exploring the American spirit provided by Blumenthal Law Offices. Serving Southern California clients for more than 40 years, the Blumenthal Law Team, headed by attorney Virginia Blumenthal, is devoted to defending the rights of the accused. More information is online at blumenthalllawoffices.com.
Hello, I'm Mary Parks. While we use many words to describe the American spirit, such as commitment, perseverance, resilience, generosity, and passion, the truth is the American spirit at its best is the feeling we get when we see it in action or share in the experience of learning how we help each other. Our goal with this program is to bring you the inspiring stories we've found that demonstrate the American spirit, or better put, that have found us. You see, the American spirit takes place all around us. We want to help you connect with the individuals and organizations that are busy every day making an impact, solving problems, and meeting needs. I'll be your guide on this incredible journey, so pull up your chair, relax, and prepare to be inspired. San Francisco is known for its iconic Golden Gate Bridge, cable cars, colorful Victorian houses, and its year-round fog. City College of San Francisco is one of the largest community colleges in the country.
That's why I say, okay, Fred Astaire. If people are going, Fred who? Like, I don't know Fred Astaire. So yes, Fred Astaire.
Luana is a tenured professor at City College, teaching dance production, dance history, choreography, modern and jazz technique, and she runs the Repertory Dance Company. Luana is co-coordinator of one of the largest college dance programs in the entire United States. This particular classroom lesson centered on the great dance legend Fred Astaire and what he brought to the world of arts with not only his dance, but through his love of music and culture. This number, Swing Time with Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, was a classic in the dance world for decades. The pair were American icons.
He's such a wonderful icon. He's such a contributor to the American landscape. And to show him in the light of ballroom, to show him in the light of tap, to show him in the light of Africanisms is really important for people who, especially for the young kids today, people who are living today, to show back in time how these concepts were used for entertainment. They were used for industry, they were used for literature, they were used in a lot of different ways, but there wasn't this huge acknowledgement. Like the culture could be there, but the black body couldn't be there. And so it's really important for them to, number one, see Fred Astaire, see his greatness, align with his greatness, either from the European ballroom point of view, or from the African American tap point of view, or from the African American aesthetic point of view. There's so many ways to approach Fred Astaire. And I think that this lesson gives the students that one more way from the African American aesthetic point of view.
Luana is using her love of dance and her skills as an educator to make a difference in the lives of a younger generation, an example of the American spirit at its best. She's accomplishing this by teaching students to look at African American roots as a tool to opening dialogue with people of all ethnicities.
There are lots of questions about race, ethnicity, and culture. And how do we address race, ethnicity, and culture? How do we address our differences, our commonalities, where we do come together? How do we address all of these things? And I think that understanding the African American aesthetic tenets is one little push to understanding it a little bit more. So it's kind of like my contribution to that discussion.
Michael Jackson's tribute to Fred Astaire, for example, is one tool she uses in the classroom. Jackson often wore his signature white scarf as a belt, a subliminal tribute to Fred Astaire, who wore the same piece of clothing many, many years earlier.
They didn't know Michael Jackson's influences. I mean, the same thing's going to happen when I get to Bob Fosse and talk about Bob Fosse's influences in Michael Jackson's life. And then the Africanisms that were sitting inside of Bob Fosse's life and how he used them. And so we have what we call intertextuality, or text upon text upon text. But the students lit up because they revere Michael Jackson. If Michael Jackson reveres Fred Astaire, then they get a chance to re-look at someone who maybe doesn't look like them, but have reverence for them. It reaches across the aisle.
And I was just going to ask you, how are we reaching across the aisle then? Culturally, aesthetically?
Yeah.
It happens every day.
It happens every day. When people walk down the street and they see, let me talk about myself. When I walk down the street and I see someone using hip-hop structures, regardless of what culture they are, I have an alignment with them, regardless. When I see somebody walking down the street, or I'm walking down the street and on the corner somebody's tapping, regardless of what culture they are, I have an automatic alliance with them because I connect from that aesthetic point of view.
Luana operates on the theory that each and every one of her students has a genius potential, and she works to pull that trait to the surface.
I'm teaching at a city college, at a community college, and these students walk in with a huge amount of experience. And so they're sitting here, and they have huge experiences of survival. They have huge experiences of mathematics. They have huge experiences of gardening, let's say. And all of that I can use in the classroom to prove my point or to make my point. If someone's a gardener, then I'm going to use those motifs. If someone is a cook, I'm going to use those motifs.
And what is your point?
What is my point? That's the genius that's sitting inside of them. That's the genius that's sitting inside of them. And so I address that genius.
Luana has spent a good portion of her career researching and writing her recently published book, What Makes That Black? The African American Aesthetic. She poses questions such as, what makes us unique? What makes us diverse? And can celebrating the African American aesthetic as part of the American aesthetic help us better understand each other? Again, she points to the arts and her book as a ladder, a handbook of sorts to finding those answers. What Makes That Black? The African American Aesthetic identifies 74 elements of the aesthetic through text and illustrations.
It's to understand how Africanisms are I guess three things. How Africanisms are part of this country. They're part of the warp and weft of this country. The threads of my African ancestors are woven into the fabric of this country. The threads of my African American ancestors are woven in the fabric of this country, and my current and contemporary colleagues, myself, it's woven into the fabric of this country. And to have people understand, to have African Americans understand that, and to have non-African Americans understand that. So that's number one, that it's woven in here. Number two, that we are all Americans, and that implies we are all have Africanisms. All of us walking. I mean, you walk into Whole Foods and Jimi Hendrix is playing, or a Duke Ellington thing is playing, and people are singing the song and singing as they grab for the broccoli and they grab for whatever. The American aesthetic is so entrenched in Africanisms, and so if we kind of all know that, just like it's entrenched in certain Latin cultures, just like it's entrenched with Native cultures, just like it's entrenched with French and British and Russian culture, Filipino culture. It's entrenched. The threads of all of those cultures are sitting inside the fabric of the United States.
Have we forgotten that?
I think we have forgotten that.
Zoom, 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 rhythm lead your ears. The future doesn't fret me, if I can only get me someone to snap that bass. Happiness is not a riddle.
This is a classic, Slap That Bass, a song composed by George Gershwin and introduced by Fred Astaire in the 1937 film Shall We Dance? The song refers to the slap style of double bass playing that was popular at the time.
Slap it till it's dizzy, slap that bass, keep the rhythm busy. Zoom, 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 misery, you got to go. Misery, you got to go.
Luana believes we can all name some of the African aesthetic structures that fuel American art. Slap That Bass is among them. Innovation, artistic expression, improvisation, all visual examples of combining cultures and talents to better understand one another.
But for myself as an artist, innovation as an agenda is really important.
So I see it as, in a sense, you're trying to improve everyone's IQ, their cultural IQ.
Their cultural IQ, yeah. I'm trying to increase their cultural IQ and broaden it. Increase it by broadening it and understanding that different people are going to come to the same page, the exact same page, with a different come from, with a different viewpoint on it. And that's really important. That's what makes America. It makes the world. Forget just America. It makes the world. We're global. This is not an American thing, a Russian thing, you know, an Ugandan thing. It's a global thing. That dream that Martin Luther King had for all of us, that we will not be judged by, you know, the color of our skin, but the content of our character and our culture. You know, that the culture can give something too.
Using a stair in Bojangles from Harlem was Luana's way of introducing not only students but all Americans to the Africanist style of Fred Astaire.
In fact, there was someone in this class that came up to me and said, you know, I'm African American. I had no idea. I had no idea. And they have to watch. One of their assignments is just watching people. And they come back in and they say, you know, I didn't realize how many Africanisms are out there. But then I also saw something else. It wasn't Africanisms, it was something else. I said, well, what was it? They said, I don't know. And that is exciting to me because it could be Mexican, it could be East Indian, it could be, you know, so they get a chance to see, just like we walk down the street and we see all these different kinds of foods, but all those cultures are sitting on the street too. And I think they get it. The students in this class, they get it. For myself and for other African Americans to have a certain pride and density of being American and entitlement and claiming my Americanness and how I've contributed and also what I am. An example of that is, let's say, innovative thinking is an extraordinary dynamic in African American culture, innovative thinking, versus following in a prescribed form or trying to develop a prescribed form and being able to repeat it each and every time. So if I come in and I have a dance in the African American community and I present that dance, the next time I dance it, I've had to develop it. I've got to put something new in there, a new twist, a new slam, a new groove, a new hook. I need to do something else with that particular song. However, in European aesthetics, that is not the value. And so if you only look at yourself from the European aesthetic value system, then there's something wrong with my innovation. There's something quite not right with my innovation.
Luana calls Bill Robinson's tap dancing in the 1934 movie King for a Day a valuable and legitimate endeavor to culture and art.
I think if we look at each culture and we see the wealth of that culture first, I mean, that's going to come up first. Understanding each culture from a different point of view, not from a point of view of criminality, not from a point of view of deceit, not from a point of view of laziness or inabilities or ineptitudes. Looking at each other from genius. Looking at each other from genius, all of us. It's really important, I think.
That's the American spirit. Tonight, more than 600,000 people across the United States will sleep on the streets. They are homeless. 1 in 3 cities in this country criminalize homelessness with anti-camping and sleeping laws. The reasons for homelessness are many and often complicated. Job loss, medical bills, mental illness, addiction, or domestic violence. Among the working, 1 in 3 people are just a paycheck away from homelessness. And once that occurs, the average disconnect from loved ones can be as much as 20 years.
It blows my mind that people can be disconnected, but there's a lot of different reasons for that barrier to exist. Sometimes it's an emotional barrier where, folks say, I don't want to be a burden to my family. I've been such a disappointment. Me reaching out might really burden my family. And that being a big disconnect is emotions. The other one being a technological barrier where, when you're experiencing homelessness for, 10, 20 years, you get a little bit out of touch with technology and kind of the new way to even locate family. You lose a phone number, you don't have a way to find it. Then that technological barrier just makes that disconnect happen.
We met Jessica Day on a chilly, wind-whipped afternoon in San Francisco. Amidst the towering office buildings of the financial district, Day was looking for opportunity to use what she calls social media for social good. It's an effort known as Miracle Messages.
So Miracle Messages was started by Kevin Adler about 2 years ago, and it's simply offering the opportunity for people experiencing homelessness to reconnect with long-lost loved ones, whether that's family or friends. That's what Miracle Messages is.
Day works closely with Kevin Adler. He created Miracle Messages in honor of his uncle Mark, who suffered from schizophrenia and spent 3 decades on and off the streets before he passed away. Miracle Messages are short video postcards or handwritten notes from homeless people to their long-lost loved ones, a first step towards reuniting. With the help of volunteers and the technology of cell phones and social media, these Miracle Messages are delivered via Facebook worldwide. The very first Miracle Message was recorded during the 2014 holiday season in San Francisco with a man named Jeffrey.
My name is Jeffrey Michael Gottschall. I was born August 7th, 1969, in a small town in Pennsylvania named Georgeville.
Are there any friends that you would like to send a holiday message?
In Pennsylvania,
In
Georgeville,
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania, if you can.
Well, what are their names?
My dad, Harold.
What would you like to say to your dad?
I intend to go home and see you again someday.
Any friends? Any other loved ones?
My niece and nephew I never met. My sister had him after I left. I know that because me and my dad write letters back and forth from time to time. My niece and nephew, Josh and Rachel. Tell them I intend to come home and see them sometime if I can.
The video ends up going viral. The family actually gets tagged in the comment section of the video, and then his sister and his family record a video response back to Jeffrey, and we were able to show him that.
Hello, Jeff. It's your sister Jennifer letting you know your holiday message reached us. I'd like you to meet your niece and nephew. Josh will be 18 in a few days. Rachel is 12, and they both want to meet you too.
Merry Christmas, Jeff.
Merry Christmas, Jeff. I've been talking to many people, trying to do what I can to get you home and the help that you need once you're here. My holiday message to you is this: if you don't give up, I won't either.
The family was reunited after 20 years thanks to the work of the Miracle Messages Project. It's what we characterize as the American spirit, helping one another without expecting anything in return. Michael Kelly had not seen or spoken to his mother in over a decade.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, Mom.
April 20th was the day we were praying for.
So far, Adler's global network of volunteers have delivered 30 Miracle Messages, resulting in 15 reunions. Horace Avila lives in Miami and had not seen his brother Isaac in 40 years. Theirs was an emotional video reunion.
Isaac, it was amazing to see you today on that video. after over 40 years of not knowing where you're at. And I missed you so long, not knowing where you've been at. And I'm just here to tell you, I love you, my family loves you, and we want you to come back.
Hello, is this Horace?
Yes.
Hey, I have somebody here that wants to talk to you, alright?
Okay.
This is Isaac.
Okay.
Horace.
Isaac.
Chico.
How are you?
Okay.
Chico.
See,
It's good to hear from you.
I saw you on video here. My
Yeah,
God.
I know. I got a little emotional.
I am too right now.
It's been so long, brother.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps the most sensitive part of this project is approaching a homeless individual for reasons of privacy, respect, and safety. For anyone with a smartphone who wants to get involved with Miracle Messages, the training is pretty simple.
I ease in very simply and say, hey, how are you? What's your name? Where are you from? Have you lived in San Francisco or whatever city I'm in? Have you lived here your entire life? Does your family still live here? Where's your hometown? And then say, do you keep in touch with that family? And then, the answer being very quickly, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. And then being able to offer Miracle Messages kind of off the very simply let in questions. But, regardless, it's tough, and you never know how to identify if someone wants to reconnect with their family or doesn't. So it's not like, okay, this person, their facial features show me that I think they want to reconnect. It is very hit or miss. You never know. But always giving each person experiencing homelessness the opportunity to do that. For one man that I met a couple weeks ago, it took him a year until he wanted to do that. And now he's living in Tennessee with his family, but it took a year. So some people won't even be right off the bat. So that's why it's so important for us now to activate so many other communities and across the world to be able to start asking this question to people experiencing homelessness, so that the more people that we offer this to, the more people are bound to say yes.
Miracle Messages appear to be working. 40% of those reunited are now off the streets, seeing a need and finding a solution, an example of the American spirit.
So we've had over 2,000 volunteers reach out from across the world, around 17 different countries, people saying, I want to bring this to my community, to my city, to my world to make this happen. So the hope is to really tap into everyone's heart and passion to do something. And a lot of people, even me, before Miracle Messages, not really knowing what I can do and what I have the capacity to do. And this being something very simple of pulling your phone out of your pocket and being able to record a video message to someone and getting involved with a local team to do so. That's what the hope is, for us to be able to create those small local teams to go out and love and serve their community on a very local and intimate level.
Adler has small teams of volunteers or chapters in a handful of major cities. Miracle Messages has an even bigger mission: to mobilize on the internet in hopes of reuniting the world. That means helping 1% of the 100 million homeless people on Earth, helping them to reconnect with loved ones by the year 2021. That's the American spirit.
This is Clarissa, and this is Gloria, this is Olivia, Elena.
Now? Mm-hmm. Okay, I would say, Dad, I love you, and I want to be close to you. I want to see you much as I can.
I know where you're
My grandkids and everything. His grandkids, I like them to see. That's all.
What would you like to say to her?
Crystal, I miss you and can't wait to see you. And I'm sorry for everything I've done. I just want to be back in my life. I hope that you give me a call and I could be able to see you. I love you and I miss you very much.
What's going on? This is a cry out to my dad.
I'm sure you know everything that's going on with my situation right now. You know, I'm going through the same thing that you went through when I didn't see you for them years. And I'm trying. I need some info on what I need to do to get back to my kids.
Hi, Rebecca. It's Daddy. I wanted to renew contact with you, and I don't know how to do that, so this young lady is going to help me. And I'd like word from you, or some way that I can get a hold of you, if possible. My health has been okay. I've had a couple of strokes, but I'm still here.
You can start by saying your name and who this message is for.
What was it for last time?
Gary, or Peaches, my cousin.
And what would you want to say to Peaches if she was right here with you?
Miss you. Miss your kids, the family. Hopefully you could get me in touch with the rest of our family.
We hope you enjoyed today's American Spirit Stories. I can tell you how humbled we are each and every time we learn about what is being accomplished in our communities by the generous acts of the individuals we profile. Amazingly, our greatest challenge is deciding which stories we have time to tell and which ones must wait for another day. It's actually rewarding and inspiring to know there are so many amazing people doing such great things for our communities. Please join us again as we continue exploring the American spirit. I'm Mary Parks.